Welcome to Currents Up Close. We've got a fun program planned for you today because we have a fun topic. We're going to talk about the Sturgis Falls celebration back this year after a year's break.
Yeah.
And this is just one example of the fun and creativity that the group is bringing to the table to make this a fun celebration. My name is Kim Manning. I'll host your program today. I'd like to introduce my guest, Jay Stoddard. He's the president of the board for the Sturgis Falls celebration. And Pete Downs, you've been on the board forever as well.
Uh-huh.
The
But
mask,
it's a joy.
The mask and glasses were Pete's creation.
Yep.
He brings a lot of creativity to the event. And we're going to talk about all the plans that are underway for this year's celebration. Is going to be June 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we kick it off with Gateway Park? That's a major
Okay.
piece of the event. Tell us what's going to happen there.
Well, Gateway Park is the new area that we came in after the 2008 flood and started preparing for that. And I guess it was 2012 was the first year, but we've got all the infrastructure and everything there, a brand new stage and all these sorts of things. But because of COVID, we have a lot of mitigation things in place to help out with that. We've got, at last count, about 580 picnic tables and these large electrical spools that CFU has so nicely given to us. And so we're going to place these throughout the grounds there to separate everybody. And we think that that'll go a long ways. Rather than somebody up on stage saying, hey, could we all maintain 6 feet apart? This will kind of like make that happen.
Sounds like a great solution. It'll be safe and more enjoyable, actually. We'll add an amenity there.
Right, yeah, people can sit down or come up to like a table and so forth. So yeah, I think all in all, it's a win-win thing for us.
Great. Do you want to talk about the entertainment that we'll see on the stage there?
Yeah, the Friday night we've got Prone to Jones. Is a new band that we've brought in. We haven't had them before. And then Sideshow Bob will be at 6 o'clock. And then the ever favorite Pork Tornadoes, and we'll have an unbelievable crowd for that like we always do. So it's a local group around in the Midwest and Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids. And then on Saturday, we have PV and the Phantoms, Thin Ice, Tim and the True Tones, another local group, and Stackhouse, very, very popular. And then Arch Allies, who haven't been back in a long time, but they're very, very popular. And they now have expanded their repertoire and different cover bands that they have. So I think that'll be a real big night for us. And then Sunday, we have Ace Jones, followed by the Snosberries. And then at 6 o'clock, Bob Dorr and the Limestoners. And Bob Dorr is doing a little bit different this year. He's expanding the number of people that are going to come up with him on stage and perform and so forth. And these are people that have played with Bob over the past 20-some years. And so he's bringing them back, and it's going to be quite a cavalcade of people that he's going to bring on stage. So it should be very interesting.
Sounds like fun. Yeah, great.
So the Gateway Park area, though, we've got, that's a great shot, is going to be, it's going to look a lot different than that rather than everybody else.
Pre-social distanced right there.
No, yeah, right. No,
Pre-
that's a
yeah,
bad.
pre.
But there's the map there that shows, if people want to look at that, that'll be in the program guide, and it kind of shows where we have the picnic tables are going to be up close to the stage, and then as we go back, we'll have the spools, and then Pete's got some things that he was going to do, I think, with a couple of maybe 8, 10 spools that'll have an umbrella on them.
Right. The spools are kind of a cool thing. I mean, we're repurposing these cable wiring spools from CF Utilities. And they turn out to be just a great utility piece for us. And so what we're doing is for 8 to 10 of the tables, we're going to add umbrellas to them. It's a zero horizon umbrella, so it's flat, so you still have full visibility. Mm-hmm. People could still see through the crowd, for security and that type of thing as well. The idea, this concept may not happen this year because, again, in terms of shipping and delivering, it's still hard to get products completed and finished. So we're not sure if we're going to have them on time. It looks like we are, but we should have them on time. but anyway, the idea is to offer these up at some point. Maybe you have a charge to them. You know, as you're buying your tickets for the beverages, possibly have like a $50 charge or a $100 charge for a table where you have the table for the evening, and then we supplement that with beer service or drink service, where whoever it is, the charity that happens to be there pouring beer at the time, can have one of their people run beverages back and forth. So then they don't have to stand in line, maintain that 6 feet apart in line and wait forever for a beer. You would actually have a table service to kind of go with it. So that's the intent. We don't know if it's going to happen for sure this year because there's still a lot of things in play, as it is with the entire event. But we think it's going to be kind of a neat little avenue. And again, that helps also spread people out. You know, we looked at the map from previous years, and it was willy-nilly, everybody's everywhere. We've got a concentrated crowd in front of the stage, and so we want to mitigate that. And so that's what we're doing with the picnic tables up front. They're basically barriers without having to say, you know, if you can high five, you're too close, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we put the barriers in like that because we know groups of people are comfortable together. And we know that also with the spools, groups of people are comfortable together. So you'll see people probably grouping a little more. And then we also have an area that we haven't mentioned yet for lawn chairs in the grass area. So you'll still be able to bring your lawn chairs. You'll still be able to have fun and entertain yourself and picnic as they kind of do in that same light. But again, just keeping in mind some very simple rules.
The lawn chairs are going to be right in front of the Jumbotron. So it's a grass area where
Okay.
people have had lawn chairs past years, and so it's a very natural spot. But we still are going to have these kind of like into pods. We'd like people to group, like a family or a group that came together. We'd like them to respect that as
Sure,
far as
sure.
social distancing and whatnot. We still are recommending masks and so forth, but the CDC is going to have guidelines that we will follow to the T. And obviously, we'll have a lot of hand washing things. We'll sanitize all of the chairs and tables and you know, in between things. So we think it'll be very safe down there.
Great. Well, excellent.
So speaking of the CDC, that's kind of the guidelines that we're following, because everybody knows the Center for Disease Control. CDC has become an acronym that everybody understands. We've kind of encapsulated that and borrowed it for cover, distance, and clean. So wear your coverings, maintain your distance, and clean, sanitize. I mean, we'll have sanitizing there, but it's okay to bring your own. You know, you might have one that you're comfortable with, or a flavor that you like, or a smell, a fragrance that you like. Bring them. It's going to be a little uncomfortable, and I guess I can best describe it as this. When you cross your arms like this, everybody crosses their arms a little differently, and that's comfortable for me. But if I'm asked to put my right hand under and my left hand on top, I still have my arms crossed, but it's just a little uncomfortable. And that's kind of what it's going to be like this year, I think. It's just going to be, it'll be a little uncomfortable, but it's a fun and entertaining event. And from what we think and what we've seen so far, the numbers, we'll still see people coming out.
Yeah.
And if you're uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, don't attend because it wouldn't be fun for you.
And we'll be here again next year.
Right, absolutely.
Flexibility
Absolutely.
is the key on the part of the planners and the attendees.
Yeah.
And I love how you guys have made it creative and fun while you're trying to make it as safe as possible. The party pods that you're talking
Yeah.
about are
Right.
a great example. Another example of how you make patrons comfortable is the shuttle service that you provide.
We have trams that,
Yeah,
that go
trams, that's what I'm
between.
trying to
We've
call
got, I just secured the pickup trucks from Community Motors again, thanks to them, and our trams that we paid for years and years ago that are still operational and used by the Blackhawk County Conservation Commission, but we get the trams during this weekend. And so that shuttles people between the parking areas and to all the different, like the Carnival or the Gateway Market or the entertainment and so forth. And then across the river to Overman Park and back again. So
Sure.
we've got a shuttle service, six-seater golf carts by the Derby Divas, and so we've got quite a lot of organizations that profit from all of this.
Whoopsie.
Wow.
Well, just like the shuttle service, let's over on the Gateway Park side, you're doing the market again this year, I understand.
Gateway Market is will be up and going. We've got about a dozen people and about 6 others that haven't sent their money in, but I think we're going to be good to go on the Gateway Market, just like we have in the past, and then that'll filter into all of the food and beverage areas that we have, and then into the beer and entertainment area. And we still are looking for groups that can help us pour beer that want to earn money for their service organizations and so forth. We've got a tremendous number of organizations that earn money. Some of them, it's their #1 fundraiser of the year. So we'd invite them to contact me or go online to the Sturgis Falls website and contact us.
Okay,
I
perfect.
think that's a lot of things that people might not know or understand about Sturgis Falls is the volunteer groups that we have that come and pour beer, sell tickets, ID validation, are all service groups or service group related. We actually pay them, and I think this year it'll be $10 an hour per person, but we don't write checks to people. We write checks to organizations. So if you've got 10 people, and maybe this is a plea, if you have 10 people out there that would like to pour beer for 4 hours, that's $100 an hour times 4 hours. That's a $400 check to an organization, and it's a tremendous thing. We have over 200 people that volunteer through those organizations, and there's 17 different service groups or charities that are represented with those 200 people. So this whole thing is just giving back constantly. I mean, that's the idea of community is sharing, and that's at its core really what we're about.
And you've done that for years and years.
Yes.
And it's grown. It's grown over the years. I mean, as more and more groups realize, well, hey, I heard about the Kiwanis Club or whoever earning money doing certain things, and it's kind of been a spontaneous thing, which we love. And it's great for the community. I mean, it's great. It's a win-win thing all the way around. And so we love paying groups and so forth for that. The only people that aren't paid are all of us volunteers on the board.
The 10, yep.
I think you're well above the average for reimbursing volunteers as well. So that's a nice perk.
Imagine that, though. You can have an event, a free event, the largest free event in the state,
Yep.
and maintain it being free and yet pay people. How does that work? It's done through sponsors.
Yeah.
We've got 100 sponsors, over 100 sponsors that contribute to it, and over 400 volunteers in addition to it. So it's some magical numbers there. The numbers we look at are 10, 40, 100, and 400, and the 10 is the group at the core, which is our board of directors. The 40 then becomes the different service groups that are affected, that actually raise money through Sturgis Falls. And then we have the 100 of the different donors and the like, and then 400 volunteers is probably a minimal number, but there's a lot that goes into it, and it just serves the community and serves back to the community, and that's kind of a cool part about it too.
That is pretty cool. Very impressive.
Didn't really figure that out until this year, how big it was.
Yeah, yeah.
It was with COVID, we're like, how many people do we have, where and who and how, and like, look how many service groups were affected last year by not having the event,
Yeah.
you know? So if we can just do something, and even if it's on a smaller scale, watch us.
Well, while we're still on the Gateway side of the river, let's mention the Carnival takes place in that vicinity as well. So that's always fun for folks.
Yeah, the Carnival has Todd Miriam with Miriam's Midway has been with us now for over 10 years, and Todd runs a real clean show. We're real happy to have him, and all of the pricing and wristband specials and everything will be in our program guide as well as on our website, so people can check into that and see what, if they want to have, like on Saturday, when is the wristband special, on. A lot of parents like to go over there and do that, so they aren't spending as much money as they would otherwise.
Right. There's a wealth of information on that website, so you can check the schedules, the all kinds of details about the event.
We also have a mobile app that Far Reach has helped us with, and so that's another way people can get information.
Great. Well, shall we move over to the Overman Park stage and talk about the entertainment there? Because there's a whole nother lineup
Let's
on the other
go.
side. Yeah.
Well, Overman Park stage, the band shell has been kind of like the main focus for years with Sturgis Falls. I think we have a picture that went on the website from 1978, I think it was, and somehow I gleaned onto that picture. It's a black and white, not really in focus very well, but it shows how we started out with this ragtag stage way back then, and you can see even then there was quite a few people that were there. So that's been kind of the center of things, and over the years we realized that ragtag stage was falling apart. Dennis Downs partnered with Sturgis Falls, and we came up with fundraising things to build the new band shell that's there, and so it's called the Sturgis Falls Band Shell. But that was our biggest project that we've ever done, and I think probably the most instrumental focus is kind of like a diamond for us downtown Cedar Falls.
It gets a lot of use.
It gets a
That's
lot of
for
use
sure.
year-round,
Serves
not
the
just
community well.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Do you want to talk about your little patches and then we'll go on to the entertainment?
Well, I'll talk about my little patches, sure. When we looked at mitigation and how to work ourselves through social distancing, I mean, we realized the mask, the cover part we've got covered, but distancing, how do you distance people like within Overman Park, because that place is such a dynamic of patrons, in that some people picnic where they'll just sit down a blanket and there'll be 6 or 8 of them around a blanket, and some people will be in lawn chairs, and so it's kind of a diverse mix. And so how do you really sit down and do that? So what we did was, rather than painting 6x6 squares, we're actually going to put these into the ground. We'll have a flat stake that'll put these into the ground. They're gonna be 1 foot wide with a star in the middle, representing the fact that you're the star at Sturgis Falls. But we're gonna put them about 20 feet apart. We're gonna create 20-foot quadrants, because we know from a safety perspective that we can get 25 to 30 people safely in a 20 square foot area. So for the supervisors and the directors that'll be on site, we'll actually be able to kind of look at this and go, are we overcrowded here or not? And we'll be able to kind of assume what the flow is. Now, we're not going to marshal it, we're not going to police it, but we may make positive suggestions, but we can't really police those types of things. So this is just kind of one of the things, and it was like, let's make it colorful, let's make it fun, let's continue with the tradition of what Sturgis Falls is all about, and yet maintain our safety as well. So that was
Great.
kind of the deal with that.
Great idea. Great idea. Do
Yeah,
you
it'll
want
be
to go
fun.
down the entertainment lineup, Jay?
Yeah, we've got, on Friday, we have the Cedar Valley Jazz Club that Dave Sires has sponsored for 20 years. He's going to make a big thing in the program guide about that. Carter Cruz, Jim and Dave, David Woods, Throwback Jack, the music studio, and then we have the Bill Riley Talent Show that's at 6:30, and then the Cedar Falls Community Theater. Again, it's a pretty full schedule. And on Saturday, we have just as well, starting at noon, CB and Company, the Marine Ensemble, the Michael LaFabre and Favorites, Milk and Honey, Mixtabel, and then the Marine Corps Band, the full band, and that's the band from North Carolina that came in 2019, couldn't come in 20, and just can't wait to come here for this year. So we're looking forward to the North Carolina band, and they just gave us confirmation that they have convenient air that's going to make them into Cedar Falls at the Waterloo Airport, not Cedar Rapids. It costs us a lot more money to come in there, but they're going to be at the Waterloo Airport on Friday, and then we'll start with the parade on Saturday and so forth. And then Sunday, we have Crystal Weber, the Doo-Wops, Clarence Williams, and the Rising Suns, and then finishing up with the Cedar Falls Municipal Band. So Overman Park stage area, it's packed with different events, and I think all the favorites from people are all there. And I want to say that the Marine Band coming, this will be their 21st year coming here. I think for Cedar Falls, that's one of the biggest feathers in our hat as far as a quality thing. No other community gets the Marine Band, but they love coming to this community, and we show them a great time, and they stay at the university up there in those Panther Village, beautiful apartments that they have up there. They're never treated this well. I mean, this is the
They have their own
top-
chauffeur
Yep.
throughout the weekend.
We
Yeah.
do. Yep.
We roll out the red carpet.
Brad Dehoff escorts them around, a retired Marine. So we're very lucky to have all these parts that are from Cedar Falls that all work together to give them, show them a
Excellent, excellent.
great
the
area.
parade is a big draw for folks as well. I think we've got the route mapped out so people can stake out their territory and be prepared and know how to watch the parade.
Yeah, it's interesting that the night before people are making their
They are.
they're spotting themselves out. And honestly, it was the parade that kind of started us down the road to the CDC guidelines, because we're like, how do we have this? And so we did honestly look at a lot of different events that were going on in the world, but the PGA seemed to have probably the best lineup of mitigation for COVID. So we kind of played that and put it into the parade. So again, we're separated anyway at the parade. We just ask that the people along the streets, respect each other and honor each other's wishes, and just make it a fun event. But it's the coolest thing ever.
Huh, that's a great point you've made about observing other large events and seeing what's worked and what hasn't and trying to pattern after that.
Well, everybody's walking slowly back into this, and that's what you have to do, because again, safety is the first concern. Not a new thing for us, it always has been, but this is a curveball that was a little different. We just had to think it through and figure those things out, and we think we've done a really good job in terms of putting all that together.
Sure, again, flexibility.
But there's human nature, so we'll see how it works out.
That's right, that's right, and weather and all of that, so.
Right.
Well, let's run down some of the extra events that are taking place. We've talked about entertainment and the parade. There's the Arts and Crafts Fair happening on Sunday.
The Arts and Crafts Fair will be, I think she said she's over, I think like 85 to 90 right now, so it'll be well over 100 different people there. And I think she's going to be able to space some of the easy ups on that as well, because of extra space that we're going to have and develop. And so I think that that's going to be, again, another mitigation thing that'll kind of evolve as we go along there. But that's our intent, is to try to space this out.
We will typically have about 140 to 150 slots for that. And so when we're talking about 80, 90, possibly 100, we're thankful for that, because
Yep.
we do want to be able
Yeah.
to spread it out a little bit,
Yeah.
instead of having them. Again, they're 10 by 10 spots, which is just fine, but it's nice to be able to have that opportunity.
Great.
Again,
Well, let's be sure we get the children's activities discussed. I think
for
there's
sure.
a fun new twist with the coloring contest that's kind of unique this year. You want to tell folks about that one, Pete?
Yeah, we've actually, year after year, we have a coloring contest, a Color Me Sturgis coloring contest. And this year, in light of our situation, we decided to make that a little more artistic. Rather than filling in the lines for coloring, we're going to have the kids, I believe it's up to 12 years old. I'm not sure on the numbers.
Yeah.
But we're actually going to have them create a mask. So we have a blank template, which you'll find on our website. When you get to it, you can click on it and download the picture itself and print it, and design your own colorful mask. And the neat thing about it this year is we've always done really cool things for the kids that participate. When you win the coloring contest, you get a banner, And what we do with the banner is you'll be in the parade, kids parade with the banner. But what we're going to do this year that's unique is we're going to print the actual mask, the design of the mask, and they'll be for sale at Sturgis Falls.
What
So
a
this
fun
is a
idea.
completely different idea, yeah. Yep.
Great. So they'll, those, as you said, forms are available on the website. They're due June 3rd.
Yes.
Yep.
That
Yep.
allows time to produce the masks and all of that sort of thing.
Right.
So,
It gives us time to get them printed and
Great.
produced, yes.
great.
Well, the Kids Way tent, we haven't quite talked about that. That's going to be a little different this year. We're going to have separate entrances and exits into the tents, and then we'll probably put caution tape around the other to kind of control the number of people that go into that tent and come out of that tent. So it's going to be a little different, but again, we're doing all these things for the safety of everybody, and it'll be very visible what we're doing. So we're happy about that. But all of the normal activities and stage acts and so forth are going to be in the Kids Way tent.
And also caricatures and silhouettes are a
Silhouettes.
thing
Yep.
again, so that's awesome to be able to,
People are going to come back to expect that they're going to see the same things that we've had in the past, and the things that have been very popular.
great, great.
This year it might be more like forehead painting versus face painting
Oh,
because
sure.
of their masks. We may just see a little more decoration up here, but the attempt is there. We're going to continue to try to do those things.
Great. Well, you folks have done an outstanding job of trying to mitigate risks while making things fun, being patient. You know, it's taken a while to know that for sure we're going to be able to even have the event. So we, as speaking as the general public, thank you and applaud you for your efforts putting this thing together for us. Everything about the event is on the website on sturgisfalls.org, so people can check the schedules. Is there anything you'd like to close with to make sure that everybody knows?
Just on that note, this is a fluid event, unlike we've ever had before, and that things are always evolving and changing. So you're going to see it. The website is the good place. Keep an eye on the website because that's the best way for information. Then number two, the Facebook page is also a great place for information.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Be sure to stay tuned on June 25th to the 27th. Come out, enjoy, be flexible, have fun, and be proud that you're from Cedar Falls.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you for joining us.